Okay, so as you can see, right, those are done. And then that's all done. I just washed these jars. What this is, people, right here, is it's plum with apple. And I'm going to do that one more time, right? Because these plums here, you know, you have to let them sit out for a long, long time for them to get really, really sweet. And so when I'm canning them, they're not completely ripe, right? So, but the sugar compensates. And like, just hold on a minute. I'm going to show you something. Okay, you see that squash? Now, my landlady gave that to me because that's a seed that came from my squash when I gave her squash. Okay, now I don't think I have squash like that growing in my yard this year, people. Right? It seems like all I basically have is pumpkins. Or at least what looks like pumpkins. They just haven't turned orange yet. So, but besides that point, this squash she gave to me, which I'm very grateful for. And this is what I like. Anyway, everybody's different. Now you see those plums, right? Because they're canned in medium syrup. It's in a medium, okay. Or maybe I did a heavy. I don't remember. I should have wrote it down. Next time I'll write it down. Okay. Anyway, you cut this in half. You can open up your jar. You can put your plums in there, right? As a seasoning versus using butter and whatever you want. I'm just using this as an example. And then you can make, we'll just say pork chops or lamb, right? Or chicken, right? And you could take some of the rest of that and bake it in with that, right? And then you have that and that, the chicken with the plums and this with the plums. So you don't necessarily have to eat it just from the jar, although you can. Now I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a meal with it. Look, I know I said I wasn't going to make too many videos here, right? And I really don't have time. Okay, I'm working with cement now. Right? I'm working on the pond, among other things. Okay, so. But, you know, just got to stay with the loop. Now, Lucy, I'm so glad we're friends. I'm because, you know, life is bonkers these days, right? And it's really hard to get in touch with those little things in life. With those little things in life. It's not my fault. The hand was made the way it was made. Anyway, you know, in terms of, what do you call it? Just those little things in life, right? That make life more palatable and enjoyable. So, I'm today, right? I washing up my big pots, looking forward to putting some of them away, but I can't yet because I still want to do some of these little grapes in syrup, right? Because they're seedless. I'm just giving them a bit more time on the vine and trying to play catch up with other things, right? And I don't know. So we know I'm packing you up a box. I'm talking to Lucy here. So we know I'm packing you up a box, okay? And I'm working with cement. Right? So I'm out and about in the yard after I'm finished tidying up in here a little bit, right? And I'm going to look for 3 trees because we don't know, right? It's probably better to put them in the ground in terms of transplanting in the spring. But if you bring them in, or don't put them directly in the shade, put them someplace where they're going to get, you know, just a few hours of sun, but not blaring, because the tree itself, once it roots, will find the light. They like to climb to the light. They really do. Right? And then over the winter, versus leaving the pots outside, just because they came in late before they really had a chance to root, I would maybe try and think about putting them on the inside with the windowsill and just kind of looking after them like that. And then as soon as the weather breaks and the spring kicks in, then put them back outside and let them, you know, but slowly, right? Introduce them to it just for a few days, because I think they would just spring back better that way. So either or, I'm going to dig up three little trees. We'll start with the 3 little trees. I'm not going to dig them up. I'm just going to get the planter pots that I think that I want to dig up, because when I dig them, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to dig them up and put them in a bag, right, and box them, and pretty much try and coordinate going to the post office with my buggy and, you know, the stroller with the kids, right, and mailing them. Mailing your teapot. I will put in that collection box, because you never know. If it doesn't work, just send it back to me, okay? But, you know, it's worth a shot, right? You never know. Right? People are going nuts, so it's hard to say, right, Lucy? It's really hard to say. Either or, I don't know if I'm going to send out 1 or 2 boxes, you know, but I'm sending you the blackberry jelly, right? And then because I did that 3rd batch, what ended up happening is I kind of overcooked it. And because the berry juice itself was so rich, right? Just because of the time of year that I picked them at. Basically what I did is I made gummy bear candy. So I'm going to put blackberry jelly candy on this here, and I'm going to send you 2 jars, because when you open up this jar, assuming that you can get it out, you're going to find that it's like a gummy bear. It's almost like a gummy bear. Now you can still put it on something like a pancake, something warm, and it will melt because it's sugar, or you can just take a spoon and eat it like that as a gummy bear. Right? So I thought that would be fun, right? So today I'm going to work. Basically, I bought those 2 more plants for the tomato, right, for the greenhouse. So I'm going to get them into the greenhouse, and I'm going to put half the kale, half the kale or whatever I got there that I bought from my local convenience store. And I'm going to make something in the greenhouse. Maybe I'll use one of those white styrofoam plastic containers, because that's what I kind of brought them home for, because I'm making the lettuce room out of Mr. Lace's cat house, right? So I thought those would be great to hold little things of lettuce. And if I want to, I can run grow lights in that quote-unquote little lettuce room over the winter. If things get really bonkers, at least we'll have lettuce and kale and those kind of things, right? With a grow light, you can do that. So anyway, I have to transplant them. I forgot about them yesterday. So that's basically what I'm going to do today, is transplant the tomato plants, the kale and pet plants, right? I'm going to look for 3 trees, get them where I want them, so that when I'm ready to put them in a bag and send them off the next day, you're going to get them like ASAP, right? I'm warning you about the jelly candy, right? I think you're going to chuckle on that one when you open up that jar. It's actually quite good, but the thing is, as I was cooking it, because I was working on that other stuff, right? And you know, and just I was canning the juice as I was cooking the berries, paying attention to that over there. I probably, you know, cooked it maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes too long. And so there's this, I wouldn't call it a sorched, you know, when you're is it sorching? Sorching? Oh, anyway, I'm tired, people. Scorching. Scorching. Okay, you know when you're cooking something in a pot, right? And it's scorching on the bottom, and it begins to burn if you not keep stirring, because it's scorching. Well, it was getting to that point where it was just starting to scorch. So when you eat the candy, you may or may not, I noticed it, right? Just because I was pissed off that I overcooked it. But as I ate it, you know, it's like a gummy bear, right? And it's good because you can, you know, it's black, it's a blackberry, so it's got that blackberry bite to it, right? And so you may or may not notice that, so I'm just pointing it out, okay? And it was only because I cooked it too long, and then by the time I jarred it and everything settled on the pot, I'm like scraping it and I'm eating it now, and I'm like, damn, that's a gummy bear. I made gummy bears. So I'm gonna send you 2 of those. I'm gonna dig up your trees today, right? I'm gonna plant some plants. I'm gonna get in touch with reality here. I'm really, you know, maybe I should just upload this and keep it short, or just bring the camera with me and show you what I'm doing. I don't know. Right? It's not like I turned off the computer, so technically I should just stay the fuck away from it and just focus on what I need to focus on. So maybe I'll bring the camera with me and I'll just walk you through my day, a little here, a little there, right? We'll keep it light. We'll keep the video today light. How about that? Because some of this stuff I'm working on, people, like seriously, it's off the fucking hook, okay? Like, it's got me so disturbed, like, not, like, mentally disturbed, but agitated in the sense of, you know, I want to get to the bottom of it, and, like, I'm serious, I have to bring out a wipeout board with some paper on it, and fucking just make it in black and white, because I'm going to talk about Regis here for a moment, okay? I came across and as a matter of fact, I want ShaMay's, whatever ShaMay's got going on with ShaMay in terms of court and what's yet to have happened around that, right, people? I can't say a public inquiry, but I want whatever it is that we're dealing with available to the public in terms of information. Okay? Same thing with Ciera. I do. I think it's imperative that these so-called professionals stand up and suck it up, right? Instead of trying to hide it and bury it and twist it and distract away from and everything else just so that it can be business as usual. You know, the way I see what's going on with Regis's case, I guess you could say, there's ShaMay's case, there's Regis's case, because you have to remember, I know this family. As a matter of fact, I love this family. I love Claudette, even though I haven't talked to Claudette for years. For the simple fact is, Claudette herself, right, from who I know as Claudette, was a very genuine, hardworking, honest human being who just happened to be locked in to that manufactured poverty, okay? Her whole family. Because there's thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands, millions of us, okay? We're not alone, okay? So, because I've already experienced a lot of things, right? And then to have Claudette come in with this trauma and lose one of her children. Because I have a spiritual connection with Claudette. Or at least I do. I don't know about Claudette. She's keeping to herself. That's fine. I can respect that. Because, you know, she's being bamboozled from many directions, I'm sure. Okay? So, however, because her story is out in the limelight, right? You know, and mine's being buried and hidden away, like the RCMPs, the BC Coroner Service, Fraser Health Authority, you know, the province of British Columbia, Canada, and the government, their dirty secret. Because it's their dirty secret, people. It's not mine, it's theirs. They're the ones who are trying to hide the story of ShaMay by making it too difficult for me to get the attention that I need in terms of in the courts with proper investigation with police, because obviously the police are trying to hide their culpability as to how things were handled when ShaMay was murdered, right? With whatever happened to Ciera behind that door, as the family as a whole was being mocked, by professionals. That needs to stay out in the open. And if the premier of this province wants to do an investigation, then he needs to make it public, right? If there is to be any kind of change within the system itself, whether it's in the province of British Columbia, Canada, or whether it's in the province of Toronto, Ontario, okay? Because what I'm finding now is by not dropping the ball on Regis, because I feel like it's my duty, people, to help the family. Seriously, with my knowledge, with what I know, what my experiences have been, right? In terms of, if I see the police trying to distract away from the dysfunction within the public union sector itself in regards to how they treat us and how manufactured poverty guarantees them a surplus of dead bodies because they refuse to do anything about the fentanyl that floods the community because there's too much money involved in the black market when it comes to illegal organ harvesting, body snatching in general so somebody else can move in, science experiments, God knows of what kind. The point is, it's the public union sector with the public tax dollars that are benefiting from this carnage that results in the death of young people. And Regis happens to be one of them, right along with ShaMay and Ciera and a whole lot of other people. That's where I feel like it's my duty to stand beside the family, because I've walked the talk, people. I understand some of what's going on, and I don't want to let Regis's death be forgotten any more than ShaMay's death be forgotten. And the way I see it is, if they can put all this information out in terms of the SIU investigative report and this and that and blah and blah and blah, right, with the 911 calls, and because they're not doing it to help the family. I can see it already, and I've only read a little bit of this report. They're doing it to defame and to demoralize the family based on the economics around, I don't want to say family, people. I want to say geographical area, in terms of, where you've got hundreds of thousands of people living in poverty, and then you've got your government coming in telling you, that's it, all get into your cages, don't come out, you can't go to work, you can't go to school, you can't go swimming, you can't go to the park, you can't go to the fucking bar and go dance and blow off some steam, you can't go play tennis, you can't, and then expect the public, those hundreds of thousands, and more hundreds of thousands of people, to not have a reaction to those orders. This is manufactured poverty to bring in arguing, right? Which brings in chaos, which allows the predators to take a snipe here, take a snipe there, another snipe over here, to take down the weakest of the weak, to whom they are actually paid for to protect. Okay? They create the violence so that they can participate in it as the rescuers to profiteer at the end result of their politics. That's why I'm fighting for Regis, in part, people, in part. Okay, I'm fighting for that little girl with her hair all in braids. Little, right? I remember that because, you see, I never braided my kids' hair. Nope, not me. Claudette did. She braided Tisha's hair. I don't know about ShaMay's hair because ShaMay had a different hair. But Claudette braided Tisha's hair. Not me, though. I never braided not Tisha's hair not once in my life. Right? So, Claudette looked after her kids good. Right? Pete worked hard. I remember. Okay? He was a hardworking man. He wanted to provide more for his family. And I think that was one reason why they left BC, because it was just too fucking expensive to live here. Right? They tried, but eventually they had to leave because, just the housing. It was the housing people. I remember. That's why she left. She told me she was leaving, but she was too far. She felt that she couldn't help me with the foundation. I respected that. She did. She put 200% and more into the beginning stages of this foundation, people. And to see us, her and me, people like us, right? Have our children die before their time for stupidity. And for that manufactured poverty to guarantee a second income for criminals within our public union sector, who our government's reward is just want to say unacceptable, but you're either gonna take it up the ass or you're gonna fucking fight back. Well, I'm gonna fight back, people. I am. I have to take care of the home front, right? And that's what I'm gonna do too. So anyway, as I get more involved with Regis, being that they put out all this information and I can see what they're doing. As a matter of fact, maybe I should just upload this and keep it short, right? If these cops and professionals and they want to bring in mental health and blah, 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 and this and anything to distract away from what the government is doing to the masses, okay? We're dealing with a propaganda machine here that's turning on the family if it hadn't already been turned on the family. This is predictive programming. This is social programming. And they're using a vulnerable family to do it. As they're putting themselves up on that pedestal in terms of the police and, the healthcare workers and the mental health fucking professionals and, anybody else that they draw into this, I don't want to say gong show, but, propaganda machine, right? They're going to do it so that they can reinforce that us little people, like Claudette and me and our kids, at the end of the day, are insignificant when it comes to, how can I say this? Oh my God, how can I say this? Okay, we're victims to our circumstances, people, and I'm not playing a victim card here. Okay, we're talking about manufactured poverty where it is predicted that X amount of people will snap and have nervous breakdowns so that the rescuers can come in and set the stage and then say, well, it was an accident, as they reap the benefits around that chaos that was instigated by poor politics. But you see, it's not just poor politics. It's manufactured. It's designed to be that way. And this is why, with what the government is doing now, with locking people into their houses, taking away all their social amenities and social distancing and this and that, and using police and work safe, agencies and all these other government agencies to instill more frustration, more fear, more everything negative into the actual human being that's having to live with these decisions that are made by, well, I don't want to call them politicians, people, because you know what? I think for anyone watching my video, I think they realize by now that we're dealing with something that's completely out of this world. Okay, it's just imagery. Let the politician shake my hand, look me straight in the fucking eye, and tell me what they're trying to tell me on the internet. And I'll say, well, hold on, before you go too far, here's a little fucking flash drive with you on the internet saying the opposite damn shit, and I caught you in your fucking lie. Think about that one. That'll never happen, though, because the politician is hidden away like the dirty secret. hard to get to. Anyway, I distracted from what I was saying. All right. So, I'm just gonna keep myself there, close, with Regis and their family, and advocate on their behalf. Because it's no different than what happened to Ciera and ShaMay, really. I mean, yeah, there's variables, but the scenarios that led up to it are all the same. I've experienced people coming in calling me a shit mother because blah, 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 when in fact, whoever is spouting out the mouth, one, doesn't even know me, has never fucking talked to me personally, directly to my face, right? Whether they, these girls, right, that come to my, with this, stalker bitch, right, have been to my house one time or two times over a short period of time, doesn't mean they've read the whole fucking book. They read a page, right? And they're too busy gossiping to cause chaos and mayhem, right? And it makes me wonder if they're getting paid for it. Because I wouldn't be surprised. That's how gang stalking works. Gang stalkers usually get paid, right? It comes in under that black budget through the government. And I've already proven and established and shown how my family has been gang stalked for a long time, for whatever reason. Because we don't have that issue. We're the food source, okay? We're not the feeders. Remember that. There's a fucking line in the sand here. There's two different, it's not simply there's the Chinese, there's the Punjabis, there's the Hindus, there's the Cambodians, there's the Africans, there's the Irish. It's not simply categorized into ethnic races anymore. We're talking straight up 100% human DNA compared to something else that's been altered. And because of that, it starts to kind of explain why that manufactured poverty has existed for so long, right? And what we're going through right now in terms of conditioning people to lock themselves up in their high-rise apartments, right? As people are losing their homes, can't get jobs, right? Are expected to go to work or whatever it is that they're expected to do, emotionally are falling apart because that's by design, right? That's predictive programming. That's setting up the human population for a downfall that's going to be bigger than what we're experiencing right now. For the ones that are preying upon us with their network of lizardry. I didn't say wizardry, I said lizardry, if there is even such a word. There is such a word as wizardry. We definitely got that going on, but we need to add in lizardry. Lizardry, maybe? Lizardry. Okay? Because I'm convinced they're feeding on us. I'm convinced of it. And I'm thinking Regis was a victim to that plague. Because it's like a plague. There's too many young people dying. Easy to write in how they died and then say it was an accident. So you see? There's what I was doing yesterday. Can you see? Right? I have to use up the cement before it starts to rain. And then I did this. I filled up that, right, for my landlady. So when she walks here, if she ever does, right, it looks nice. I think so. Here, I'm going to paint this part a different color because it's like, it's actually, you could trip on that. That could be very, there's a lip on that. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that. But that's easy enough to solve by painting it a color right? Yeah, so work on that, and then I'm going to work on the shelf in here. All right, I'm clearing out as I'm going. I'm thinking to try and do something with that. See, there's my cement. There's my cement, but I have these kale I have to put in the ground. I want half in the greenhouse and half outside. So there's a fair amount, because they'll still grow for a while. There's 3 of them. So I'm going to do that. And those tomato plants. And then, of course, I think beans are still growing. They should be. I haven't picked any in here. I don't see any. Not since the last time I picked. They should be here. I don't. I haven't picked anything here for a few weeks. There we go. Just leave them for a while yet. Don't pick them yet.
There's one right here.
Yeah, just let them grow.